to On Target, your go-to podcast to lead, love, and live as Central Region unapologetically serves all mankind. Here's your host, Kiana W. Davis, Central Regional Director for Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
Welcome to another episode of On Target Podcast. I'm Kiana W. Davis, your host and Central Regional Director of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. In this episode, Soar Sister, we shine a spotlight on remarkable journeys of women-led businesses. So join us as our guests share their experiences, strategies, and their secrets to success. This episode is all about celebrating the entrepreneurial spirit of women and learning how to start, market, and even elevate your business to new heights. You know how things are just destined to happen. I believe that this connection was absolutely destined to happen. And so this is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, who in her own right is a wonderful business owner, entrepreneur. But I want to just talk about the power of our sorority. There is a power of the network that happens in our sorority. And so she found me on social media as a fellow entrepreneur. We connected and our stories just collided in a wonderful conversation and a wonderful opportunity that I think she can talk more about. Kyra Renell Hardwick, and she is the founder and managing consultant of Kyra Company LLC. And it's an operations and business development company focused on consulting, founded in 2015. She is an award-winning corporate and nonprofit management leader with exceptional customer service, and I mean exceptional operational management skills and an expertise in operational leadership. She also comes before us, and she'll talk more in depth with the awesome partnership that she has with JP Morgan Chase to talk about the idea of the expansion of Black businesses or the resurgence of Black businesses. And so I am so grateful that I get to meet wonderful members such as Kyra. Kyra, thank you for joining us on Target Podcast, the podcast for Central Region of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, where we are unapologetic about our support of women-led businesses. Welcome.
Oh my goodness. I have chills like head to toe right now. Thank you for having me. It is an absolute pleasure. Remember, Kiana, just to be present, to be here, and to represent our South Central region. I'm from the Houston region. I'm a member of the Mu Kappa Omega chapter. And I am actually what we would consider to still be very new in the space, spring 2022. And so the pleasure is absolutely all mine. The honor is mine to be even present with you. So I'm so glad we collided.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, I gotten to know you, but I want our audience to really know who you are, what you do, because we can have names and titles and all of that. But I do think that you do something very important in the life cycle of businesses. And so let's talk about what is Kara Company LLC? What does it do? How does it help?
Yes, absolutely. So the Kyra Company is an organizational development and operational management firm. So our goal is this. Our goal is to make sure that small to mid-sized businesses succeed. Our goal is to make sure that at no point in time you have a question about the people in your organization, the processes that they're running, or the profit model that you're hoping is generating revenue consistently in your business. Our goal is to make sure you're strong. And so the complex way to say it is we build your operational infrastructure, we get into the dirty side of the business, and we really help you, CEO, we help you level up as a leader, we help you strategize and create solutions for your business and your people. And we definitely help you generate more revenue, and we do it pretty quickly. Our goal is to make sure you are accelerated in the process. I am committed to moving efficiently, but I'm also committed to
Mhm.
moving in an accelerated way because when you take action, the most important thing for you to be able to see are those results. And our goal is to achieve
Absolutely.
rapid results with our businesses. And so we've been doing this for the last almost 8 years. We'll celebrate 8 years in December of 2023. And we're excited about that. And so it's just our goal is to make sure that small businesses really do thrive. We know that we are the literally the backbone of our economy in the US. So that's our
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's absolutely necessary for what you provide and what your business provides as it relates to kind of the infrastructure of
goal.
businesses. And I
Mhm.
think sometimes when we have this great idea about business and we have this dream that we want to achieve, excuse me, we don't realize the help we need in building our team and the appropriate team. And
Yeah.
so, I, as an accountant, I have attorney friends who I put around me in my building of my team. But this idea of another eye looking at your dream, your baby, and
Yes.
coming in and accelerating, putting in processes, procedures, plans of action in to accelerate that, because most of us want a level of quick return for the things that we're going to put in, whether it's our time, talent, and treasure. And so
Mhm.
let's talk about the importance of that infrastructure, right? Like, I think sometimes we say, oh, we can't afford it, or we don't need it. I'm going to do this solo dolo, right? Or dolo solo. We are going to, we don't see a need for it right now until we get to this level. But what is the importance of building that team with all of these players, including companies like you?
Absolutely. And I'm going to step back just a tad bit and say, listen, I started up as I was a true startup, right? I walked out of corporate America involuntarily, and I had a package. So that was the one thing that was good for me. But I had a package and I had to figure it out. I did not
Yeah,
know what my true skill set would lead me to. I did not even think about entrepreneurship, right? I was going into the pass I was looking for to get a new job. I have a stack of no's in a file
oh,
about this thick. And I realized quickly that at my level, and I was really at a director level, but at my level, there are not a lot of opportunities because people are rising within
mhm,
organizations. And I remember even sitting in a meeting with an executive at a major retailer, and I was talking about getting into their operations and helping do some work. And I literally could feel the tension on him as much as we were kind of sitting in his side chairs chatting and having an interview, an informal interview. I said, he's really trying to figure out who he needs to let go of in order to bring me in. And it just really just dropped on me. And I said, you know,
wow,
I just thanked him in that moment, and I never looked back. I realized that the no's I received were my indicators that there is another process or opportunity out there for me to follow. That path was designed. There was no way for me to resist it. And I look back now, almost 8 years later, if I had resisted, if I hadn't persevered through the no's,
yeah,
I don't even know how many, just no upon no, I would not have gone into the space where I literally just was open to what was possible. And so you talk about entrepreneurs that want to do the thing, build the thing, sell the product, but don't understand the power and importance of building a team around you. That was me. I was corporate all day long, 20
yeah,
years. And so when I moved into entrepreneurship, all I had was my skill set. Now, here's the blessing
mhm,
in it. My skill set, I was operations. And so I
yeah,
naturally thought right in the sequence of people, process, profitability. I naturally thought that way. I didn't know that was going to lead to the success of a consulting firm. So when you think about pulling people around you, that was the first thing I did. I'm like, well, someone's got to help me make this. This has to be legal, right? I need to make sure I'm not breaking any laws. Are my contracts, are they good? Will they stand up in court? Do I have what I need? I mean, I started doing business from my living room, my dining room,
yeah.
and I really did. I was transactional from my dining room. I had my war room set up, my board checking off
I
people's
love it.
names. They didn't even know they were on the list. I was like, "You gonna get converted, right?" I had to. I just had a target list. It was serious business, and it was funny because my family would come through and they could see those check marks going up by people's names, and that meant converted. They were converted into clients, and I realized there was a system that I was working. And so the first thing I really wanted to do was tighten it up. That's
Yes.
number one. Now I had the gift to be able to do that for myself, but I still needed legal. I needed insurance. I needed an accountant. I needed somebody to help me count my money as it was
Yes.
coming in. It was,
Yes.
I won't even say it was a slow roll. I think my first year, when you think about the pace, if you're really committed to this thing, before you know it, that revenue is coming because you're attracting what you're
Yes.
actually, who you're speaking to. And we won't go down the marketing path, but that's, I'm passionate about knowing how to talk to your customer. But the pains of having to figure it out by yourself, you said it first. You're an accountant. You know that legal is important. You understand that there are other entities you have to interact with on a regular
Absolutely.
basis.
Absolutely.
And if you don't understand that process, you could put yourself and your client at risk. And so
Absolutely.
it's a big deal. So you do need your top tier folks, and a consultant, especially an organizational development or an operations consultant. We are the strategists behind your business. We are coming in as that operational eye to really look and laser down on how you're moving. It's scary to turn your P&L over to someone. Well, I can see problems by just looking at a P&L from afar.
Absolutely.
I can have a vision conversation with the CEO and hear the gaps. So if you don't know how many case studies twirl around my head all day, then you don't know when you tell me your issues, I can solve problems almost instantly just because I have enough data and understand the process. And that's the essential of having key folks around you in the team, whether it's an attorney, whether it's an accountant, whether it's a consultant, that can help you around your business, someone in technology that can really help you automate.
Absolutely.
You need those key individuals to help you move your engine. Your business is an engine, and the goal is that it generates money and it does it efficiently.
Efficient and quickly. Because
Yes,
some people, to your point, whether it was voluntary or involuntary, some people, we all left something, a
that's
level
right.
of surety, right over here.
Mm,
And that every 2 week, every month, every week paycheck, the benefits, the stock options, whatever you had you could count on it at some
that's
level
right.
to
That's
a
right.
space where really you might not be able to count on it. And so the only thing that separates you from being able to count on it and not is really what you're going to put into
Mhm.
that dream, that vision, and building your team. I've always thought was absolutely important, and I tell even my clients is it's important. I know you might not think that you can't afford it, but you cannot not afford it, right? You have
It
to build that team, because a
is.
year down the line, 2 years down the line, um, you could have been more efficient in getting that dollar of revenue, but it cost you $1.10
Mhm.
to produce that dollar, because we didn't bring the right people around the table to advise us on what the most efficient and effective way to do business. So I love that. And let me tell you out there, for the folks that are listening, she and I can be on this call for 2 hours, but we won't. We won't. I promise you, we won't, because there's so many nuggets to share for those that, whether they want to do entrepreneurship as on the side or full time, there's so much we can share with you about that journey and what you need to put in place. But one of the things I really want to shift and have a conversation about is this partnership you have with JP Morgan Chase, and hence how we met, in our conversation, because we do know that Chase is really committed to entrepreneurship in minority areas. And we saw what has happened in Detroit. We see that there's some level of investment that is to occur in the Chicago area, and Chicago happens to be in Central Region.
Yes.
I thought it was important, as we are in this particular On Target episode talking about women-led businesses, to really talk about how do we connect people with the resources, the information they need. And so before you go in and talk about that, I do want to preface this for those that are listening. You have to be serious about business building. And I think the information that is about to be shared with us are for those that are absolute serious and focused about building wealth through business ownership. And so this program, this opportunity of resurgence, this Black professional entrepreneurs resurgence escalator, or no, accelerator.
Accelerate. I know
I'm
it's a lot.
gonna get it right. I'm just butchering it, you guys. But I'm gonna have Kyra come on and tell us more about that, because we want to connect you with this information and get the right people involved.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that. And thank you for setting the tone, because being serious about your business is not out of reach, right? And in this instance, we're super excited that we have the opportunity through our partnership, or truly our engagement. JP Morgan is now our customer, right? How many small woman owned can say that you have the largest financial institution in the world as your client?
Yeah.
And so when you think about it from that perspective, when I heard them say it for the first time, it was so humbling. I was like, can we just sit here for a second? I need a moment. Because remember, I'm the girl with the nose,
Yep.
right? And now
Yep.
I'm the girl with one of the largest financial institutions on my roster as a customer. And so, what does that look like? And so, what we did in COVID, like many of you all, is we created some things. And so, one of the things we created was Resurgence. And Resurgence was our response to an unreasonable request to create a solution or a tool that would help keep businesses from failing. And what I knew is that that was impossible to create. But what I also knew is that something needed to be done. And so we created the Resurgence program. It's an accelerator for growth stage businesses. And it is specifically designed in this instance in Chicago. I'm super excited because applications are open. Yes, yes, yes. Applications are open, and the application closes on October 5th. Now, I'm going to give you that up front. I'm going to give it to you again. They're open now, they close on October 5th. And we are offering this to Black professional service providers. So entrepreneurs that provide services. Service providers um, oftentimes are overlooked because we're not direct products. We don't provide products to industry,
Mm-hmm.
but we provide the services. And so those are going to be people like consultants, accountants,
Yeah.
healthcare and health and wellness, your attorneys, your insurance companies, your real estate, and you name it, your health and beauty specifically, stylists, caterers, people that are providing, business owners that are providing services. And so what I want you to understand is that this has been designed specifically for growth stage businesses. So if you're in it and you really want to accelerate your growth, this is going to be the program. It is designed by entrepreneurs. It is delivered by entrepreneurs that are masters in their craft. We have curated the most incredible lineup of facilitators. And we've also added, this is not our first cohort, we've also added a small group element. And I'm going to tell you why that's important. I'm going to go through the courses really quickly, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you why small groups are important, because you then get to build community. So if you've gone through a million cohorts, or you've done a lot of programs online and you're like, but where are the people? We have built a resurgence community that you will have access to until. And the
Yeah.
reason why is because we understand that once you go through the process of these 6 courses, it's a 6-week program. We have built in some post program engagement for you. There will be a live post program graduation ceremony. Let's just call it what it's going to be. It's going to be a really amazing party for us to celebrate our successes, and that will be in December. But to get there, to get to the gate, you're going to go through strategic planning, operational finances, business operations, human resources, marketing and brand strategy, and leadership development cohort forums. That's what we call our sessions. They're 2 hour sessions. And those 2 hour sessions, I'm telling you now, come ready, locked and loaded, because they are full. They are going to be on Wednesdays. And I'll give you even a little bit more. We will kick off the first session just so you can prepare. I think the first one is October 25th. And
Okay.
so if you are selected, you do have to apply to be selected into the program. There is no cost to you. The cost is your time, which is probably your greatest asset. It's going to be your mind share, your brilliance, and your ability to collaborate with others. That's what we want. The goal for you from us, for our goal for you is that as you go through this program, number one, you collaborate and build your ecosystem, find your
Mhm.
tribe of people, your partners to bring alongside of you. Because we're working with service professionals, if you don't already have your team, you'll likely be able to bring them in through this cohort and identify with them, and or the facilitators. We've got master facilitators delivering. So that's the first thing we want you to do, is to collaborate. When you collaborate and find yourself in conversations with corporations or major opportunities, you now have a team that can help you do the lifting and
Mhm.
get the job done. You don't have to go
Absolutely.
into it thinking that the person that has to do it is you. Bring the
Absolutely.
team. You can do
Absolutely.
more faster. So that's the second part. The third part is we want you supplier ready. And so what I have heard the stories, I have seen it. I've been in that situation where you get a contract and you are looking like, you're afraid with deer in the headlight eyes, because you're not really ready for this, heavy lift. The money sounds amazing, but the delivery of the program or the service,
Yes.
that's where the challenge comes in. And so our goal is to make sure, as you said earlier, the infrastructure is strong and you know how to do it. And so this is not just strategic planning. We're not glazing over anything. You are going
Mhm.
deep, and there is work to be done in the sessions. You'll have a blueprint that'll take you all the way through, but we actually do the work in the cohort. And so we know, we've been on those calls. Have you ever been on a webinar and you're like, oh, I'll do this later? You set it to the side. My
Yep.
side is like right here. I put it. I'm like, I'll get to that. It goes with me in different rooms and in different bags, and I never come back to it.
Mhm.
And that is not the plan for you in this cohort. The plan in this cohort is that you actually dig down and you work,
Mhm.
and we have designed it with time for you to do that. We've created time for you to collaborate. And of course, there's time for you to get the instruction. And we are loaded with tools. You will not be searching for templates or tools. We're giving them to you as a part of the program.
Love it.
Everything you need. Let me tell you something. This is, I'm gonna get excited about this.
Look at her. She's so excited about this.
How many of you have ever tried to forecast your money for, out for a year? Forecast your sales, because okay, so let's yep. Okay. Have you successfully completed that spreadsheet and been like, okay, this is what it's gonna be? Yes. Listen, there is an art to this thing, and I have tried. I personally have tried to finish it. I just told my accountant this the other day. I am going to properly forecast for 2024 if it kills me. But it's about understanding
It is.
the cost of your product, good or service, the cost of the support, the vendors, the employees, the teams that you need to actually sell the service, so you can understand that if the product cost $100, how much did it cost you to actually produce it? Well, if it cost you 70, your margin is high and you only made $30. So,
Yes.
how many of us can really look at that on the
Yeah.
long term and really say over and over, how many services do I need to sell to get to this mark, right? Let's
Yep.
just use $1 million
Yep.
as the
Absolutely.
goal. You know what I mean? We're getting into the practicality of that. We have
Yep.
I'm gonna tell you, nothing, if nothing else, apply for the spreadsheet alone, because it is bananas. My accountant, her team, she crafted this specifically for Resurgence. It is literally now proprietary. And so you will only get it through Resurgence. And it is to give you the tools you need so you can really have those conversations. What happens when you go to the bank and they want to
Yep.
talk about your future plans? Well, if
Mhm.
you pull out your future plans in numbers and then you just talk and tell the story,
Yep.
oh my gosh, the opportunities just continue to come for you, and you will
Yes.
not be able to, you won't really be able to stop them because you're ready and you're drawing that in. It's just about knowing,
It
right? And
is.
then
It is.
I get excited about that because we,
I no, I warned, this podcast is going to run a little bit over than what I'm trying to do, because there's so much passion around this subject, and honestly about this opportunity,
yeah,
because it is happening in Chicago. I know there are a lot of members and members' friends and families who
mhm,
are really the profile of being connected with this opportunity really is connected, right? That they fit the profile. And so I do want to, before we have to skedaddle, just talk about what is the profile of someone to join this particular opportunity or engage in it? Because I looked at it, and I'm in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I thought like, oh, I'm gonna do it, but it has to be Chicago based. I know that's one of the
Yes,
profiles that, or the requirements. So I was like, oh my gosh, I was just gonna go through it just because I like lifelong learning. And so tell us about the opportunity. Who is this for?
absolutely. So this is for, again, Chicago-based service providers. So there's a NAICS code that you fall in the category of, whether you know what it is or not. We've specifically set this up so that if you fall under professional services, your business aligns with this cohort. There are 30 seats in this cohort, so space is limited. Let me start with saying that. We have lowered the number of years in business intentionally. So the goal is that you've been in business at least 1 year. That's your minimum. You could have been in business for 15, but the minimum is one. And the reason why is because during the pandemic, a lot of professionals and practitioners went into business for themselves. So we took the liberty of understanding the market and said, let's lower the number of years.
Yep.
But the standard for revenue is an average of $250,000 a year. And the reason for that is because we want you to be a growth stage business. So if
Mhm.
you've been in business for 1 year, you're making at least 250, you meet the minimum criteria. If you've been in business for 25 years and you're making at least $250,000 a year, you're meeting the criteria. So we wanted to create more bandwidth so that new entrants into the entrepreneur space, that we know practitioners need that support if they jumped out of a corporate, opportunity, a corporate job, and into entrepreneurship. We know you need the support. We're going to help build you up. But if you've been in it for a while, we're going to push you over the ledge with all of these resources. And so it's equal opportunity for business owners that are in growth stage. Okay, your entity has to be located in Chicago in terms of paperwork, your documentation, your legal entity established there. If you join us from Cincinnati, you join us from Cincinnati, but your entity has to be in Chicago.
Chicago.
Hmm.
Very
Yes,
good. So, to those that are listening, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. When this podcast hits and you're able to listen to this, we want you to connect with this opportunity for those that really are wanting that, what I call quantum leap growth in their business, and connect to the necessary information. And the beauty of this is that there's no charge, only your time. And as you and I know, time is a very valuable commodity that we have, probably the most valuable that we have. And so we're asking you that if this is for you, to invest one of your most valuable commodities and trade it in for some valuable resources. So we're going to end with, where can they go to apply?
absolutely. And I'm gonna capstone it with this. There are resources attached to this. And so there's the cohort program, and then there's the support behind it, and there are also a resource pool. So just remember, we are going to load you up. So Resurgence Accelerator. So Resurgence is the name of the program. If you search Resurgence, you'll look up on the accelerator website, but it's resurgenceaccelerator.com. And then you can hit the / Chicago, or you can just simply go to resurgenceaccelerator.com, and you can click on the Chicago activation to see exactly what you need to do and apply. It is open now. We want you to join us on this journey. And I want you to get in now and share it with those that you know really would benefit from this program. So don't be afraid to share it and apply. And I'm going to also say this: if you find that you don't fit the criteria, I still want you to apply. And the reason why is because we have a pathway for you so we can get you to the criteria. So
Yes,
we always
I
have a
love
net.
that.
Yes. So do not stop. If you're like, oh, I'm not sure, submit. Let us be the judge of that. And then if there's a need, we will put you on the pathway to meeting the criteria. So I just want you to trust us in the process. This is what the Kyra company does every single day, but this
Yes.
is what we do with our colleagues. We've partnered with a collaborative that I'm a part of called Inequad Global, and many other consultants that are going to be sharing. We have some Chicago's own that'll be a part of this program and facilitation as well. So we're very serious about the excellence that we're bringing to this program.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for sharing with us this during this podcast, and I'm so glad that we were able to meet. And the beauty of the sisterhood is the connection of the sisterhood, and to bridge the gap of resource sharing and networking. So, to those that are listening, please go see resurgenceaccelerator.com/Chicago. There are 30 seats available, a lot of resources that are free. And so I can only imagine what those resources and connectivity to resources are going to be, especially with the partnership with our dear sister here and JP Morgan Chase. And so this program seeks to ignite your entrepreneur spirit and connect you with like-minded professionals. And that's absolutely important in this transformational 6-week virtual cohort. And so thank you for joining us on this episode of On Target Podcast. We hope that the information was informative, that it was it gave you the information that you possibly need to either make the step into entrepreneurship or to grow the thing that you're operating in right now. So if you're an established business and you just want to go to the next level, this opportunity that we just shared with you is the opportunity you need, especially if you are in the Chicagoland area. Thank you very much, and we'll talk next time on Target.